Kevin Stefanski needs to be fired. I mean, what are we doing here? Kevin Stefanski has coached the Cleveland Browns for the past 5 seasons. This is his sixth season as an NFL head coach, and he continuously makes head scratching decisions. He had a bad game against Kyle Shanahan and the Niners last week. And then reports were coming out that, oh, if the Browns fire him, that he's automatically going to get another head coaching position. Did did these people who make these reports, do these executives actually watch the Cleveland Browns play? You cannot watch a Cleveland Browns game and come away with the game with the determination that Kevin Stefanski is a good head coach. Now I understand the writers out there, the football writers, they voted Kevin Stefanski coach of the year 2 times. But that was in 2020 and 2023. We're talking about 2025. This is a not for long NFL. What has Kevin Stefanski done in his last 30 games? Kevin Stefanski is 6-24 in his last 30 games. Let me repeat that. Kevin Stefanski is 6-24 in his last 30 games. By any metric, that is a terrible record as a head coach. And with Shedeur Sanders scoring his fourth touchdown accounted for, and your team down 2 points because you decided to go for 2 points when they were down 8 points. You decided to go for two in your infinite wisdom, and you looked at your analytics sheet and you didn't play the smart game. You can't play a game of football in a spreadsheet. So you looked down at your analytical chart and it told you, hey, let's go for two so we're down 6. But if you've been a Cleveland Browns fan forever, you already knew how this game was going to pan out. You knew in the back of your head that Shedeur was going to score another touchdown, and they were going to F up the second 2-point conversion just like they did. I didn't know it was going to be in this epic of a fashion. So Shedeur Sanders accounted for 4 touchdowns on the game. So you're down 2 points. So you need a 2-point conversion. You take Shedeur Sanders out the game, arguably your best playmaker on offense the entire game. He threw for 364 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air, 1 on the ground. You take your best playmaker out on the offensive side, and you put the game in the hands of Quishon Judkins, who did not have a good game at all. I mean, the offensive line, the operation from the offensive line, they made so many egregious mistakes. And Shedeur overcame all of that. But one thing Shedeur cannot overcome is the incompetency of his head coach. It's almost like Kevin Stefanski, every time Shedeur really tried to get this team to get a win today, it seemed Kevin Stefanski did something to torpedo Shedeur's effort. I mean, it's just quite amazing. And Dylan Sampson, hold on to the ball. Special teams, is it that hard to play special teams? Bubba Ventrone, come on. That falls back on head coaching. The operation is supposed to look a certain way. When you're a team that's been head coached by the same coach for 5.5 years, almost 6, the operation should look a lot cleaner than it has for the Cleveland Browns in 2024 and now into 2025. They continuously make procedural penalties. They always seem to shoot themselves in the foot. And it points back to coaching. Like, the special teams has been god awful this year. That points back to a lack of accountability and Kevin Stefanski not really calling out Bubba Ventrone. You are the head coach. That means you are the head coach of everything. The offense, the defense. Even though you're not calling plays on the defense, you are still the head coach. And you aren't even calling plays on offense anymore. So this is more egregious because you have less of a responsibility as a head coach because you're not calling plays anymore. So the operations should look a lot smoother because you're able to not just focus solely on the offense as the offensive play caller. You're able to oversee the whole operation. And it's almost like Kevin Stefanski with less responsibility has looked worse as a head coach in 2025. How can you as an owner and Jimmy Haslam just sit back and just accept this mediocrity for the past 2 seasons. I understand people are like, well, if you fire Kevin Stefanski, who are you going to get to replace him? I don't care. So y'all fine with this ineptitude from Kevin Stefanski because y'all worried about who we're going to hire next. As a Browns fan, I went through 1-31 over the course of 2 seasons. I think I'll be all right whoever they pick to replace Kevin Stefanski because I've seen enough for Kevin Stefanski. He's been an abject failure. I don't care he's a 2-time coach of the year. What have you done for me lately? It's the NFL. It's not for long. I don't care that you have 2-time coach of the year on your resume. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl and was coach of the year. Got fired. Brian Daboll, coach of the year, got fired. Guys get coaches of the year all the time and get axed in the NFL. That doesn't give you carte blanche and give you this runway where you're just Gucci and you're golden for the next 10 years because you won coach of the year 2 times in a row. Who cares? Like, seriously, who cares? If you've won 6 games in your last 30 games, you're 6-24, but you're like, hey, I have on my resume that, I won 2-time coach of the year. Like, nobody gives a crap. You're 6-24, and in between the lines, you cost your team a win. You took Shedeur Sanders out of the game when the game was on the line, and you decided that you're going to run a trick play instead of trust the quarterback that got you back into the game multiple times. The Cleveland Browns were down 14-3 in this point. Shedeur drove them back to be up 17-14. The Browns are down 31-17. Shedeur drove them back to be 31-29. And what does Kevin Stefanski do to undercut that? What does Kevin Stefanski do to reward Shedeur Sanders? He takes him out on the very last play of the game, and he could just look at the ineptitude and incompetency of the Cleveland Browns from the sideline. At least give Shedeur the opportunity to either win the game or lose the game. And Kevin Stefanski did not give Shedeur that opportunity. And that's the most pissed off I am about this whole situation. You didn't allow Shedeur to sink or swim in a crucial moment. So that means you ultimately do not trust Shedeur Sanders. And that's a real problem. I've said it before. The Cleveland Browns have to make a decision. Do you want Kevin Stefanski or do you want Shedeur Sanders? They cannot coexist on the same team. Just is what it is. I choose Shedeur Sanders every time because there's something there with Shedeur. We saw it today. And there's nothing there with Kevin Stefanski. He's a bad coach. We need to fire him immediately. He should not be able to coach this team any longer. Just do it. I'm tired of having to watch Kevin Stefanski F things up because he just does something stupid every singular game for the Cleveland Browns. That's all I have for this one. KSK rolling out. Like and subscribe. KSK out. Peace.